Hello everyone, we are Team 10. We have developed a multi-tenant application which can be used as SaaS, which is software as service by different organizations for keeping track of project management activities. The motivation for this application is that web applications should be responsive to the changes in the database and they should generate dynamic user interfaces as per the metadata provided by the backend. We are considering Salesforce as our driving force as we are trying to simulate the similar kind of functionality at base level. The main purpose is to learn about the multi-tenancy and as well as how to do a deep dive into the most popular technology which is rapidly growing across the globe. Now I will give you a brief overview about the database architecture what we are currently using. We are making use of MySQL to store the metadata about the all user interface of the application as MySQL is the base suited for referential integrity between the tables. Apart from that, we are also using MongoDB provided by MongoLab to store the application data which our users are supposed to provide as an input to the application. As of now, we are considering three tenants which are Kanban, Scrum and Waterfall. And now I will quickly discuss about the data model for our application, which is responsible for generating dynamic UI for our application. So these are the three tables which we are using for our application. First is the tenant table, which will keep track of the particular type of tenants. Right now, that can be number 1 Scrum, number 2 Waterfall, and number 3 Kanban. Apart from that, there is one tenant attribute table which is keeping track of the attributes that are going to be displayed on the user interfaces. So this table is keeping track of attribute ID, attribute name, attribute type and attribute reference. So name will be the name that is going to be displayed on the screen. Attribute type can be the text box. Attribute type can be the data field. Attribute type can be the text area, combo box, check field, or that can be a date field. So those are the types that we are storing. According to that, our attributes will be displayed on our screen. And if the attribute is combo box, then the value for that attribute is we are storing in MongoDB, and attribute reference will keep track of the ID for that collection document. Apart from that, there is one multi-tenant table which is useful for generating the UI because it's keeping track of the mapping between the above two tables. So what are the attributes that are going to be there in the Scrum project is getting decided by using this table. So this is the kind of approach that we are using, according which our screens are getting designed dynamically based on the mapping that we are providing in our database. Now I will discuss something more about the MongoDB data structure that we are using for our application for storing all kind of data coming from the application from the different users. So this is the example of one document of the project collection, and this is the example for the data of Scrum as a tenant type. That's why we are storing a sprint name, sprint duration and start date in this document because we are keeping track of one sprint at a time. Data array is also there which is keeping track of particular cards, tasks or stories at a time, and we are storing value of attributes in terms of key value pair. So based on this complete document, the particular row for a task, card or story will be generated on the UI, and we will discuss something more about the other two example. For example, this is the example of a document for waterfall, and this is the example of a water model for the Kanban as our tenant. So this kind of data we are using for our application and which is responsible for making a complete generic UI for our application. So later on my other team members will discuss something more about the complete project demo.
Hi, so I'm giving you a live demo of how we have implemented the multi-tenancy. So right now, as you can see, there are four fields in the Scrum kind of tenant. These fields are description, remaining points, total points, and edit and delete buttons. And the same fields are displayed here. For same fields are displayed here for Scrum. So now I'll enter a new row in the database. This row would be a dependency, a field called dependency, and its type would be a text box. So I've created this new attribute in the database, and I'll create the mapping of the same. Uh, so as you can see, I have added this dependency field for tenant 2, the tenant 2 is Scrum. So once I've created this mapping, if I update, if I again load the project, a new field called dependency would be displayed in my UI, and I can it would also be shown in the form below. So this way we have implemented multi-tenancy, where the user can dynamically add and remove fields from the backend, and which would be reflected back in the UI. And I am going to explain you about the Scrum type of tenant that we have created. So out of the three tenants, the Scrum is one of the methodologies for project management. And so the user can create a new Scrum project through our system and then edit and update it. So here in the bottom there's a drop down that allows the user to select the type of project he wants to create. So I'll select the Scrum project in here, and when I click on add new project, I'll be redirected to the project creation page. You can notice that I'm not able to edit the project type in here, because this is already a Scrum project, and this all fields are specific to the Scrum project, and they're specific to this kind of tenant. So I'll just enter this project name. I'll select Scrum project 3, and I'll write the description as Scrum project description. The project type cannot be updated, and by default I need to create one sprint in this project. So I'll select the sprint as sprint 1. I need to enter the sprint start date, which is I'll write 04/20/2015, and I'll have to mention the sprint duration. I'll specify it as say 100 days. Okay, so this sprint has to be completed within 100 days. And when I click here, there is the Scrum Project 3 would be displayed in here, and when I Scrum Project 3 would be displayed in here. So when I click on Scrum Project 3, I'll be redirected to the Scrum project. So as there are no stories added in here, the status is displayed as project is on time, and the grid is shown empty because right now there are no stories. The top panel shows the project name, and at the bottom is the chart. This chart shows the progress of the project as we go on. So let me just show you by adding a task, adding a story. In fact, so I'll create a user story 1. I'll enter the remaining points as say 598, and I'll insert the total points as 500. So when I click on save, the ideal velocity has to be 5 per day. So if the remaining, so ideally the remaining point should be 495, but right now the remaining points are 498. So we are lagging. So as you can see, when I click on save, the status gets changed to project is late because we are lagging behind, and as you can see, the chart gets updated. So at day 0 the points were 500, and on day 1, at the end of day 1, the total points remaining was 498. So if I click on edit here uh, and select 490, so that is we have covered 10 points on day 1, and select 500 here and click on edit. See, so the ideal velocity was 5 points per day, and we completed 10 points, so we are early. So this is how the chart also gets updated, and this chart is specific to this uh, tenant as it is Scrum, and this indicates the slope of this chart indicates the velocity of the project. And I can also delete the project, and on clicking the delete button, the data is removed and the chart becomes empty. You can notice that this page remains the same for all the tenants, and all the fields are dynamically added for this project, for this tenant. For Scrum, the same page is used for Kanban and Waterfall as well, and all the fields specific to those tenants are displayed in the same page. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Vishwa. I'm going to explain how our multi-tenant platform caters to the waterfall tenant. As you can see, I have multiple projects Here is I'm going to enter the waterfall project. As you can see, there are multiple multiple attributes for the tenant, such as description, status, name, start date, end date, and resources. I can edit the details if I want. So as you can see, I'm changing the status to incomplete state. Now you can see out of the 4 projects, there is one task that is not complete. So the status is also updated, showing as 75% complete. As you can see, there is a graph below. It is showing the timeline display on the chart. So the task starts from May 6th to May 23rd. The second task goes from May 9 to May 23rd, and so on. I can also add a new task to the waterfall tenant. I'm assigning it to the resource here. So as you can see, a new record has been added. The data goes into the MongoDB database, and the attributes are still populated from our multi-tenant schema. As you can see here, another record is populated with the timeline showing as June 1 to June 5. That is the start date and the end date of the task that I just added. You can also delete a task if the task is marked as complete. So here I'm going to delete this task. As you can see, the task is deleted. Again, the chart is also updated. Similarly, the status of the project is also updated dynamically. And now I will continue and explain you the Kanban module. Thank you.
Hello there, I'm Divya. I'm going to demonstrate Kanban in our project. Here on the home page, you can see we have already created 2 projects under Kanban tenant. So first, I'll show you our first Kanban project named as Kanban 1. If we clicked on it, a page will appear where you would be able to see a graph and a table where several attributes would appear, name description, named, assigned to, card status, and these roads records are mainly cards. You can edit these cards, if I choose to edit demo disk 1, then I can change its status from complete to not started. Likewise, I can change assigned to, and I can change the name as well. So if I choose to change complete status from completed to in progress and edited, then here, as you can see, earlier it was completed and now it is showing in progress. Likewise, you can make changes in several other cards. Below in the graph, here you can see 2 things, status and the number of cards. Like here we have 2 in progress, 1 not started and 1 completed. So if you took the pointer on not started status, it will show not started and number of cards 1, as in we have only 1 card with status not started. Likewise, in progress we have 2 cards, number of cards 2 as it is showing, and under complete status it is showing number of cards 1. So if you changed any status of any card, likewise those changes will appear in this graph as well. So, and apart from this, you can add a card as well. Like if you added a card named ABCD with description ABCD and the name PQRS, and you wish to give status in progress, save. a new record will appear with name PQRS. Here, this new record came, this new card with name PQRS ABCD. Likewise, this graph will also change. Now, in progress, there are three cards. So, if you took the pointer in progress line, then you would be able to see number of cards 3, status, and so that was the table we designed. And likewise, you can add a project as well under Kanban on our homepage. Suppose if you want to add a project, then all you need to do is took the pointer under Kanbanize, add new project, fill its details. Like if you give name as POIU and project description 1, 2, 3, ABC and create. This will give a new record under Kanbanized tenant. A new project has been added, POIU with the description 123A. Under this, you can fill your other details and create your own table, create your own records. So that was my part. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Komal from Team 10 and I'm here to demonstrate the deployment of our multi-tenant SaaS application on the cloud. We have made use of Red Hat's cloud computing platform as a service called OpenShift. OpenShift is extremely scalable since it provides both manual as well as automatic scaling. It increases the performance of our application greatly, and thus we are using this for our applications deployment. We begin with logging into our account and creating our first application. Our application type is Tomcat 7 since our platform is Java. We provide the public URL here and create the application. So the application is created. Here we add our MySQL cartridge. MySQL cartridge is also added with these credentials, which we will just save it. Also, we need to update our application and change the username, etc. of our MySQL to the username of this cartridge. This is the password. And the most important is the URL. Now we are going to add a PHP My Admin cartridge as well, which will allow us to have a web UI of our MySQL. The PHP My Admin can be launched using this button out here. It will be asking us for our MySQL's password and username. Here on the left side, we can see the schemas. The schema multi-tenant app is already created, which is our domain name. We are going to query and add our tables to the schema. This shows the structure of our application schema. Next, what we do is we need the IP here of our MySQL server. We take this and we replace it with this IP here. We export the application as a WAR file. And we go over here in a command prompt in any folder and we do rhc setup. This is a way of enabling the communication between our system and the OpenShift. It asks for the OpenShift user credentials. It has already been entered before, thus it does not prompt for one now. Whenever we want to enter with a new user, we just need to use parameters called -u and -p and enter the new email ID and the password. Next, the channel has been set up. Now we open the git GUI and create our repository, rather clone our repository, clone existing repository. The source can be obtained from our OpenShift application right here, and we clone it. All right. Now we place this particular WAR file inside the web apps folder, and we push it on the OpenShift. So the push has been made. Let's hit our URL. So accessing the URL does not directly render the result. We need to append the WAR file's name in order to see if the application is up. So yes, the application is up. Let's sign up. We are able to successfully sign in to the database, thus showing that the MySQL connection to the application has successfully been made. This demonstration lasted for hardly 10 minutes, and it shows that the deployment of our application over OpenShift is extremely easy, and it provides humongous advantages and performance enhancement techniques. Moreover, the scalability is great. Thus, I would recommend, and after the project, we all would recommend that you OpenShift is a extremely great platform as a service and must be used by for application deployment. Thank you.